Batman Rise of the Dark Knight. Gotham City, New Jersey, 1988. It was a crisp autumn day outside in the Gotham Heights area, the area where all the rich of Gotham live at, an exclusive neighborhood, big mansions, big properties. And one of these mansions and properties was that of Wayne Manor, owned by the Wayne family, built in the 1850s by Judge Solomon Wayne, and the family has lived there ever since. Well, this generation of family that lives there is Thomas and Martha Wayne, the young couple who are very popular and much loved in Gotham City. They're Gotham City's royalty. And on this day, they were enjoying a picnic outside with their 6-year-old son, Bruce Wayne, who was enjoying the autumn day, the gold, red, and brown leaves on the trees, the golden color of the grass outside, and the 55-degree weather out there. It was a nice life for Bruce Wayne. He was just a child of any rich couple, no worries in the world, ignorant to the surroundings around him, a lifestyle envied by many children in the city. Well, Bruce Wayne was just running around and he saw a white rabbit. He wanted to catch this rabbit. His parents saw from a distance as they were sitting having their Chardonnay, laughing. Oh, look, little Bruce sees a rabbit, says Martha. Thomas says, well, I hope he doesn't catch that thing. The last thing we need is to take him to the hospital for rabies shots. Besides, I really don't want this day to be ruined. I like it. Thomas Wayne was a man in his early 30s. He was the current CEO of Wayne Enterprises, a multi-billion-dollar company in Gotham City, and his wife, Martha Wayne, formerly Martha Kane, was the heiress of the Kane chemical fortune. She herself was active in the community. She ran charter schools at the more blighted sections of the city to help at-risk youth, and even taught in those schools part-time. She was, her and her husband were the face of philanthropy in the city. Wayne, with the Wayne Foundation, has done many things over the years with the foundation. College scholarships for underprivileged children, free clinics in the blighted areas of the city to give free medical care to people who normally have access to medicine of any sort. These were just many services that Wayne Foundation provided. Well, little Bruce was enjoying his day outside, running, enjoying the autumn air, trying to catch that dastardly white rabbit. He said out loud, I'm going to get you, rabbit. I'm going to see if Daddy's going to let me keep you as a pet. Well, the rabbit went into some bushes, and Bruce Wayne stopped. He was going to go in, but he realized if he tried to put his hands in the bushes and the rabbit's still there and scared, it might scratch him. And Bruce did not want to get scratched. Well, Bruce was going to have another problem to deal with. As the little boy stood there, staring at the bush, thinking how he was going to get that rabbit out of there, he began to hear the sound of creaking. Bruce Wayne, hearing that coming from under his feet, he looked at the ground. He sees the ground began to sink. The little boy got frightened, and all of a sudden, the whatever he was standing on that was wooden began to crack and give way, and Bruce Wayne fell into a hole. But his fall didn't go unnoticed. His parents saw from a distance as little Bruce fell into the ground from a hole that opened beneath him. The two of them ran as fast as their legs could carry them to where Bruce fell in at. Meanwhile, Bruce had landed hard on what seemed to be rock. He looked around. It was pitch black in there, save for the shaft of sunlight that was streaming in from the ceiling from where he fell in at. But the terror was not going to cease. He saw the glow of hundreds of red eyes of something that was blinking at him. All of them. The eyes glowed red and they were blinking. What were they? Thought 6-year-old Bruce Wayne. Are they going to kill him? He was getting frightened and he began shouting for his parents. Mommy! Daddy! Well, that didn't help, for his screaming disturbed what was looking at him, and then they began flying out. It was hundreds, thousands of them, bats. They all began flying at him and around him, then flying to the exit on the ceiling that was made when he fell in. Bruce Wayne was screaming, scared, as all the bats flew around him. But after what seemed to be an eternity of terror, they stopped. They all had left. Finally, Bruce hears the voice of his parents calling him from above. "Bruce!" said his mother. His dad also, "Bruce, can you hear me?" Bruce screamed, "Yes! Help me!" His father hollered down the shaft, "Just stay there, son. Stay there. I'm coming to get you. Do not move an inch." Well, after what felt to be another eternity, his dad finally came down with a rope and harness, left over from his uncle, who was an adventurer. Well, Bruce clung to his father, crying, explaining the ordeal. His dad helped him back up, and his dad explained to him back on the surface what happened. He said, "Son, those were just bats. It's okay. You just disturbed their nest. They don't harm you. You're okay, son. You're okay." But did you feel like you heard anything when you fell? Bruce nodded his head no and wiped the tears from his face. "Come on," said his father. "Let's go back home. We'll get you cleaned up. We'll have some dinner, and then you can sit and watch your favorite TV shows." Bruce Wayne smiles like, "Thank you, Daddy. Thank you, Mommy." Well, the happy family walked off back to Wayne Manor. That moment would live in Bruce Wayne's head for the rest of his life, but not as prevalent as what would happen 2 years later. June 15th, 1990, Gotham City. It was a big day for Bruce Wayne, because Dick Tracy was going to premiere tonight, and he couldn't wait to see it. All the kids were talking about it. He saw all the trailers on TV. He was just excited. His parents were excited too. They loved to go to a good movie, and everyone was getting ready. As his mother was getting the final touches done with herself, getting herself nice looking, and his dad was brushing his hair. Bruce comes running in. "Come on, Mom. Come on, Dad. I want to get to the movie and see the trailers." His parents just laughed and smiled and was like, "Oh, it's okay, son. We'll get to the movie on time." And his mom says, "Thomas, don't forget your wallet this time." "Yo, that's right. Thanks for reminding me, dear." Well, after what seemed to be an eternity of getting there, they finally arrived to the movie theater. But Thomas Wayne's choice of movie theater was not a good idea, and it would be one of the biggest mistakes that will cost him. Thomas took the family to see the movie at the Gotham Cinema Palace, a beautiful movie theater built in the 1930s, a good example of Art Deco architecture. It was a beautiful place, but unfortunately the area it was located in was Park Row. Park Row was once the hub for the rich or anybody that had money to blow for the night. It was a place where from the 1920s to the 1950s, you had beautiful homes, you had very lavish museums, very lavish restaurants, you name it. It was really an area that was catering to the rich. But unfortunately, since the 1960s, the area has been falling into decline. The once beautiful homes were now in a bad state of neglect. Some of them were even being used as drug houses. And the street, once clean and pristine, was filled with graffiti, garbage all over the place. The once great museums were now closed, and its art or whatever was inside has been relocated to other museums. And the people who wandered the streets now were no longer the rich and well-to-do. They were the criminals and people just looking to make a quick buck any way they can, even murder. Well, Martha was kind of screaming at Thomas, and he's like, "Thomas, why do you always want to go out here?" Thomas said, "Honey, I like this movie theater." Thomas Wayne and several other people of the Gotham Historical Society have pushed to have the Gotham Cinema Palace be declared a historical landmark, which they succeeded. Well, the big night was finally here for Bruce Wayne. They went in the theater, they took their seats, and Bruce Wayne just loved that night. It would be probably the last happy moment of his life. as the 8 years old sat and stared at the wonder of Dick Tracy, the art direction, the movie. He loved it. Well, unfortunately, Thomas Wayne decided after the movie was over to exit through the back exit of the theater because word had got out that him and his wife were attending the premiere with their son of Dick Tracy, and he wanted to avoid the media. So they exited the back exit of the theater and were walking down the alley, trying to make their way to the front to get to their car. Thomas was saying, "Come on, hurry it up," as he looked at his watch. It was 10:46. But before they could make it to the front, a man jumped out in front of them and said, "Okay, buddy, okay, this is as far as you go." He pulls out a gun, frightening the three people. He says to Thomas, "Okay, buddy, I want money, I want jewels, I want anything. Come on, empty out your pockets." Thomas says, okay, sir, just calm down." Thomas takes his wallet out gently and takes out about a couple $100 he kept in the wallet and gives it to the guy. The guy's like, yes. He quickly crumples it up and puts it in his trench coat pocket. Then he looks at Martha. Martha had pearl necklaces on, and he's like, "Oh, pearl necklaces." He quickly reaches out to grab Martha's necklace. Thomas tries to stop him, but suddenly it ended badly for him. Little Bruce looked on in terror as his father fell to the pavement, face first, lifeless. He was panic-stricken. Well, his mother, Martha, began screaming at the top of her lungs, and the mugger said, "Shut up, bitch, shut up." Well, in his panic, he pulled the trigger again. Then Bruce looked in horror as his mother fell back onto the pavement, dead. Then he looked at the mugger, and the mugger had the gun pointed right at his head. He was going to pull the trigger, but then something stopped him. He just put the gun away and ran off into the night like a coward. Bruce looked at both of his parents, dead, on the ground. His life had changed forever. Several hours later, he was at the police station, still traumatized from the incident. It was a busy place, this police station. Bruce looked through the window of the office as people were walking in and out. Policemen were bringing guys in handcuffs into the station and fingerprinting and everything. He just sat looking, but nothing could ease his pain of losing both of his parents. Suddenly, he just sees one policeman come up to him. It was a young police officer in his early 20s with a reddish-brownish hair, freckles, and blue eyes. He comes up to him and gives him a can of Coke. And he says, "Here you go, kid." He sits next to him on the bench, and he says, How are you feeling, kid?" Bruce was very silent, and he let out a slight whisper, "I'm okay." Then Bruce asks the policeman, "Did you catch that man?" The policeman says, "We're doing everything we can." Then he introduces himself to the kid. "Oh, where are my manners? I forgot to introduce myself. My name is James Gordon." Soon another policeman comes walking up, the same age as James Gordon, but he had blonde hair and blue eyes, and he was really built. He says, "Hey, Jimmy, some lady doctor, I think Dr. Tompkins is her name, is coming up to pick up this kid. Can you believe this? Rich kid, his parents get killed, and he's got a lady doctor coming to pick him up." The tone of his voice was very insensitive. James Gordon had to remind Flass, "Hey, Flass, this kid just lost his parents, okay? Can you show a little bit of respect? I mean, a little bit of feeling?" Flass said, "Listen, I don't give a shit about some rich kid's parents being murdered. You know what? He's got a doctor picking him up. This kid's never gonna have needs or wants in his life. You know, forget it, Jim. You just don't understand." Then Flash walks away. Jim says, "Well, I'm sorry, kid, you had to hear that. Not everybody is respectful around here, unfortunately." Well, their little conversation was interrupted when Commissioner Hardiman comes up and he's like, "Son, we got him. We got him," he says with a big smile on his face. Sure enough, Bruce watches as they bring in the man that shot his parents. His name, Joseph Childress, aka Joe Chill. Well, Joe Chill was definitely a product of where he was living, the product of his lifestyle. He was a very thin man. His face was haggard. His appearance looked like he's been asleep in a ditch. He was a hopeless drug addict who would do anything to get money for the next hit, including robbing and killing people. He was a very, very mean looking, but yet a sorry looking man at the same time. He knew he had it. He knew he's caught. He knew he was going to go to jail for a long time. He killed two of the richest people in the city. He was done for. Well, eventually Dr. Tompkins shows up and picks him up. Dr. Tompkins was a middle-aged woman, kind woman, who worked at one of the Wayne Foundation's free clinics in the very area where his parents were killed at, Park Row. She was a very long-time friend of the family. She always attended the parties that his parents threw and was always invited to dinner. She was passionate. She wanted to give back to the city and help out in any way she can. She was the kindest woman you could ever know. She was almost like a grandmother to young Bruce. But now she was going to be Bruce's legal guardian. But it was going to be a fight to get that title. Well, months had passed. There was a media storm over who was going to get custody of Bruce Wayne and what was going to happen to Joe Chill. Well, eventually Joe Chill was found guilty thanks to Bruce Wayne's testimony, and Joe Chill was originally sentenced to the chair, but his sentence was commuted to life in prison, while Leslie Tompkins was granted legal guardianship of Bruce Wayne. Now it's her responsibility to raise a young boy and try to ease the pain of what he experienced. It was not going to be easy. She hired the best psychologist to help Bruce get through the pain. Well, the years passed. Bruce was living a life of seclusion in Wayne Manor. Dr. Tompkins was usually busy at work at the free clinic in Park Row, and to help with the chores around the house, since the servants had all left after the Wayne's death, she brings in her maternal aunt, Harriet Cooper, a very kind woman who Bruce saw as another second grandmother. She also told Bruce, "Oh, dear boy, don't call me Mrs. Cooper, just call me Aunt Harriet." Well, after his parents' death, the will would read that he would get his parents' fortune when he turned 18 in January 13th of 2000. Meanwhile, his schooling and everything would be paid for through a trust fund just to cover his cost of school and college. Well, young Bruce Wayne would have a teacher that would come and teach him, a private tutor by the name of Dr. Ogden Miller, one of the most talented educators in the Northeast. He was a college professor who decided to become a private tutor, and Bruce Wayne was going to be his new student. Bruce Wayne poured his grief into the schoolwork and worked very hard, and when he was not going to school in his own home with Dr. Miller, he was also taking out his rage and grief in Taekwondo. So the years would pass, and finally we arrived to 1996. Bruce Wayne was 14 years old, but Bruce Wayne was not going to start high school. All his hard work paid off. He was going to start college. Yes, he got us up to the Gotham City's very own Hudson University, located in an island on the Gotham River, sandwiched between Uptown Gotham and Midtown Gotham. It was a university that was co-founded by one of his great-great-grandfathers, Alan Wayne, in the late 19th, early 20th century. And now he was going there to start his career as a college student at a very young age. He decided to do what every Wayne did. He was going to major in business since he was going to inherit a business in a couple years. His adopted mother, Dr. Leslie Tompkins, was so elated and so proud of her foster child, and Aunt Harriet was also proud of Bruce. And so was the media. It was a big media hype that time, as everybody was taking pictures of him after the announcement, and he made the newspapers and he made the news. Gotham's favorite son goes to college early. Bruce Wayne was nervous. He was very young. He was going to be in a school with a lot of adults, pretty much, and he knew about the college life, which he wouldn't be able to partake in because of his age, being 14, and everybody else being virtually adults there can do whatever they want to do. But it didn't matter. He was going to do the same thing he did while he was learning under Miller's tutelage, pour himself in his work. And indeed, he did. He started the summer semester in the summer of '96, and then during the commencement of the normal school year in August of '96, he realized he was not going to be the only young student at the college. He met another young student, a girl his same exact age, Kathleen Kane, aka Kathy Kane. She was young, somewhat attractive, but not that attractive, a pretty brunette, who Bruce took a quick liking to, and she took a quick liking to Bruce. They were the only two 14-year-olds on the college campus, and they became tight friends, very tight. They almost became brother and sister. Well, his college years went on. During his sophomore year, that summer, he went to summer school again, and it was his final year in college. Because since he took 2 semesters, he was going to graduate in 3 years instead of 4. He found out he was going to start the internship program when the 98-99 school year would begin. He was happy because not only was he going to graduate early, but because he was going to intern at the very place where he's going to take control at very soon one day, Wayne Enterprises. It was very fitting. Well, it was there also that during that summer that him and Kathy spent a lot of time together. By the end of the summer, Kathy was gonna confide something in Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne thought it was gonna be the proverbial "I love you, Bruce," but he only saw Kathy as his best friend. But he was wrong, very wrong. It was not the "I love you" confession. It was Bruce, "I like girls" confession. Bruce Wayne was shocked, like, what? Yes, she said, you heard me, Bruce. I like girls. I'm a lesbian. I don't know who else to tell. I'm scared to tell my parents because maybe they're going to be angry, disappointed. I could tell you, Bruce, you're my best friend. I like girls. I feel attracted to them. I always have. Bruce lets out a smile and says, hey, Kathy, it's okay. You can tell me anything. And you know what? I accept it. These are modern times. I have no right to judge at all. If you like girls, fine by you, man. I mean, hey, I'm always here for. I'm here for you, Kathy. She smiled and gave Bruce a big hug and was like, oh, thank you, Bruce. I could always count on you for everything. You're the bestest friend anyone could have. Kathy Kane was the daughter of Joshua Kane, the software king of Gotham. Many people call him the Bill Gates of the East Coast. He founded his computer and software company in the dawn of the computer age and made a huge fortune by the early 80s. His daughter, Kathy, was accepted to Hudson University. While Bruce Wayne got accepted because of hard work, Kathy was accepted because she was naturally gifted. She was a genius. Now, September 1998, it was a Tuesday after Labor Day weekend. Bruce Wayne was starting the internship program at Wayne Enterprises. It was him and several other internees who were in their early 20s. Bruce Wayne was the only 16-year-old in the group. Well, one of the hiring managers was coming in. He was tasked to meet the new interns and assign them. Well, he comes in, he looks at the young college men and sees Bruce Wayne. He's like, "Ah, Mr. Wayne, welcome to your family company." Bruce Wayne lets out a smile, like nervously laughing, saying, "Oh, thank you." Well, he was going to go over the rules when there was a knock on the door. The manager said, "Excuse me." He turns around and says, "Come in." Well, the door opens, and a short man comes in. He was African American. He was about maybe mid 40s. He had a well-groomed mustache, and he was very soft-spoken. It's like, "Oh, I'm sorry to disturb you, but I'm actually here to see Mr. Bruce Wayne." The manager's like, "Oh, Mr. Fox." Well, yes. He says, "Gentlemen, before I go further, this is Mr. Lucius Fox. He's the current CEO of Wayne Enterprises. He is the first African American to run the company. He's took over after Mr. Earl retired in 1995. So, gentlemen, you'll probably see plenty of him during your interning here." Well, Fox said, thank you for the introduction." But he sees Bruce Wayne in the far end. He's like, "Oh, Mr. Wayne, will you please come with me? You're going to be interning with me personally." Bruce's eyes light up, and the guys looked, and it's like, "Wow, oh, well, lucky you, Bruce." Bruce is like, yeah, guys, lucky me." Oh, man, Bruce was very nervous. So he goes up to Lucius Fox, and the two shake hands, and is like, "Well, Mr. Bruce Wayne," he says, "it's an honor to meet you finally. Come, let me show you my office." Well, the two left and went up the elevator to his office. Lucius Fox's office was a very beautiful office, but compared to probably where his dad's office was, it was very simplistic. Bruce just wondered why he was not in the, big office where all the Waynes occupied. Maybe he was just leaving it empty, or maybe he just didn't want such a massive office for himself. Well, the two got to know each other better and discussed plans and what was going on. And he was showing Bruce on the computer the layout of the company, what the building has, and what it has that's not going to be seen by the other interns. Since Fox felt that this is going to be the company that that Bruce was going to take over, he had a right to know all the little nooks and crannies of the family company. Bruce saw something on the blueprint on the screen. It was a sub-basement labeled Applied Sciences. Bruce points, asks Fox, "Mr. Fox, what is that there on the sub-basement?" And he points to the screen that says Applied Sciences. Then Lucius says, "Well, Mr. Wayne, I could take you there myself." So Lucius takes Bruce down the elevator to Applied Sciences. As they arrive, Lucius hits a switch and a huge row of lights start turning on. Bruce Wayne's face lit up as he saw the massive sub-basement with rows and rows of everything you probably could imagine. Then Lucius says, "Well, Mr. Wayne, this is Applied Science. All the prototypes ever built by Wayne Enterprises is stored down here for safekeeping. Over the years, a lot of shell companies were started up by Wayne Enterprises for our various military contracts. Now, as after your father died, Mr. Earl had begun a project to consolidate and get rid of these shell companies and try to consolidate everything into one neat package. And with each company, we've just acquired a lot of the prototypes that they built. Also, prototypes that this company has built are down here too. And even blueprints for things that were designed but never built are down here too." Bruce was like a kid in a candy shop. He's like, "Wow. Oh, wow. So every prototype built by this company, it's down here?" Lucius says, "Yes, Mr. Wayne, they are. Maybe in a not too distant future, I'll give you a full tour down here of all the things we have. I mean, geez Louise, we have weapons down here. We have stuff. You name it, we have it. We have enough stuff down here. We probably could finance our own private army." Bruce Wayne says, "Yes, you're gonna have to definitely show me everything down here. The future CEO of this company must know what's in here." Lucius lets out a smile. "It's okay, Mr. Wayne. You'll know what's down here. Well, The day's events ended. His first day as being an intern was a very eventful day. He learned the ins and outs of the company and other things that he would need to know when running the company. Soon he returned home. He was greeted by Aunt Harriet, who asked him how his day went. He explained how his day went. Later on, Dr. Tompkins comes home tired. She's like, "Oh, Bruce, very hard day at the office. So, how was your first day as an intern at your company?" Bruce says, "Very illuminating," he says to Dr. Tompkins. "I've learned a lot today on the first day. I can't wait to learn more." Well, this is the end of part one. Like and subscribe and stay tuned for part two of my origin story of Batman coming soon.